And I am going to go right into edit. And there's me sleeping. So I pause in those certain areas just to create what I'm going for here. Now, I'm going to show you the pro version first. And I recommend anybody just to get the pro version. I was paying month to month for the last 2.5 years until finally I just broke down and paid $75 for a year to get the pro version. So I feel it would be well worth it to have it. So basically that is a minute long video. And what I do first is, while this is one single clip, go down in the bottom here and I go to aspect ratio. I tap that and I go right next door to that little TikTok one, 9:16. And that's just going to make sure that it's the right aspect ratio, the right size that we want it for where we're putting it. So that's step number one. Now, step number two, I usually go through and do coloring, because later on, if I do it, I'm going to have to do maybe 10 or more clips. Where now, while it's all put together, I can do it just once. So what I will usually do is go into adjust, and then I have presets. So if you find a setting, and I'll show you how to do that, but if you find a setting, you save it. And then you can just come here anytime and click on it. So let's see what each one of these does. So there's a little bit darker, a little bit more vibrant. So I'm just going to go with that one and hit the check mark. So now it puts it throughout my whole video. So on mobile, it kind of comes separate that way. And I think it does on desktop too. But in this case, you could actually do that part of it later if you're using a preset. Well, you can without the preset too, because if I go into adjust, so if I didn't use the preset and I came right into adjust, right down in, I'll back up here. I go into adjust and can try filters, but we'll go to adjust here. And then I can change the brightness. So you can just say, all right, what does this do? Okay, I like it right there. Then I go to contrast. And I might want it a little bit darker. I'll put it about there. I might do some brilliance, just kind of brings up the lights, the whites a little bit. Sharpen is one that I always use, and I'll bring that right to about 15 or so, about 10 to 20, and that will just help you get a clean, clear picture. I do clarity, which used to be paid, and I kind of put that right about 5 to 10. Now this is a cool one here, because in Brandy, I think you mentioned once when something was happening, you were recording and it was red, right? And there's times, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's an allergic reaction, but sometimes my nose will just turn bright red. And I don't know if it's nerves or what. Sometimes it usually seems to be on a Zoom call, or that's just when I notice it because I'm looking at myself. But if I go to this one here, and I forget so it's the hue, saturation, and lightness. But say in this case, I have yellow on my shirt. If I highlight that yellow and I go to saturation, I bring that all the way down, it gets rid of that yellow. So if you have too much red or too much green, or if I bring that back up, if I'm outside and I'm with trees and everything around me, bring that up a little bit and make it more vibrant and make it just feel more energy going on around you. So that is what HSL is, and I use that all the time. Here, graphs, this has to do with some color grading, and I'm not going to get too far into that, but in graphs, basically, if you just leave it on that white right there, so it's just a basic overall color. If we look, it's kind of on a graph here. Look at the upper right there where I put that dot. That is a point that is going to control the lightness and the darkness right here. And you want to have a little bit of a curve. So without getting into deep color grading, if you come here, I put another one there, so I just do my back button. If I just come up a little bit, you almost want it to be a slight S. And then I create one down on this one. I can get that deeper color there. So just like that, just to know what it is. If you want to get a little bit more depth in your color in the view, you can do that. Very basic. Move the one up in the upper right up and lower left down a little bit. And that's it. And just by tapping the screen, it will create that dot. If you create too many, just hit the back button. And If you're unfamiliar with the controls, you can either look at my CapCut masterclass or make note of it. We can go over anything else at any other time. And then what I'll also do, because of kind of the look I go for, I bring down my shadow a little bit, maybe just like 3 to 5. Whites, I'll put up just a touch. Blacks, again, just down a little bit. Not too much, because I don't want it to be too dark. I still want to be seen. And that is all I use there. Now you can also go to video quality, and I can go to HD, which you can see here it is already. If you happen to go on yours, you can bring it up to HD, and it will make it just that much, make it a better resolution. It'll make it that pure 1080, if that's how you have it set. So it's kind of doing its thing in the background here, uploading the video. I'm just gonna get out of that. So you can see I did both of those. I did it manually, and then I also used a preset. So I'm actually just gonna use the one that we created, and I'm gonna get rid of my preset. So there was my preset. I'm gonna delete that. And I can just long press that and just move it up to kind of keep it tucked in there. So that is my color. That is all done. So if I go down to back to the main menu, just hit the back button in the lower left all the way back, you can see that color portion disappeared. So I don't have to worry about it. If I want it back, I can go down the bottom here. I go back to adjust, and it goes there. Now it's on the screen. Same thing with text. If you're back here, you won't see text. If you want to see your text, you hit the little text button, third one in right there. And then you'll be able to see your text.
All right, so just to catch us up, as of this point, we have gone through our aspect ratio, made sure that that's on 9:16. We have gone through adjustment, and we've made some preset adjustments, and we also did it manually. And I also, which is my favorite filter for a certain look, and sometimes I won't use the filter because I can duplicate it easily enough, but in this one I use is enhance. Now, it's part of my theme because it's a little bit darker, and it kind of really carries those blacks through that I like in my videos. So at this point, you'll also want to look at the sound. So there are times when I speak slow because I'm trying to be very clear and pronunciate my words very well, but at the same time, it makes the video drag. So what I'll do is I'll go in, I'll listen to it first.
What if you could walk away from a training with not just knowledge, but a polished video ready to share?
All right, so that was okay, a little bit slow for me. So what I'm going to do is go to speed. I'm going to go to normal, and I'm going to raise it up. If you go too fast, it's hard to understand. It's very awkward. So I'm going to go to 1.2, which is usually the fastest that I'll go, because it will tend to, the faster you go, will change your voice. It almost make your voice sound kind of digitized, especially if you try and enhance it afterwards with the AI feature. So I'm going to hit the check mark, and we'll see how that is.
What if you could walk away from a training with not just knowledge, but a polished video ready to share?
All right, so that went much quicker. It actually seemed fast because we already heard it slow, and we're not on that fast pace. But when we're scrolling through and you hear that, it's not going to sound fast. So I'm going to stick with that. Now, while I'm in here, you also have these other ones. Curve. So this will basically take the entire clip that you have, and you see on the upswing, it will make it faster, and on the downswing, it will make it slower. So that's how you get, if you've ever seen some of those jump cuts where, basically it's zooming in and zooming out of a car, as you walk around a car, and it zooms in quick and then, zooms out slow. And you can do that, and you can also make them custom as well. So I'm not going to do any of that here. And then we have velocity effects, which basically takes what is on the screen there and it applies like a template to it, a pre-made something or other to those effects that you see there at the bottom. So we're not doing that one either. So what I'm going to do is go back to the main menu. So now we have everything that I want. The only other thing is if this video was sound dependent. So if I wanted to do some cuts that are on beats to make it sound right, to make it when I transition to have the beat of the song hit right then, in that case, what I would do is, and I'll show you this quick. I'm not going to apply it to this video, but I'll show you quick. I did go over it in my CapCut masterclass, my mobile in-depth CapCut masterclass. And that's actually how I did the first edit on there. But this one, I'm going to go into sounds, and I'm just going to pick some music. There we go. I'm just going to add that, hit the little plus sign, and it puts it right in there.
What if you could walk away from a training with not just knowledge?
All right. Now, the first thing I would do, just to show you again, is to go into volume. Again, right here, I tap on the sound, I hit volume right there at the bottom, and I bring that down. Usually I'm almost down to like a 2 or a 3. Now you can actually use keyframes, and I can go over that at some point too, and that is in my CapCut masterclass. And some of these, the basic things, keyframes aren't basic, but I'll go over it a little bit in here. But I got that down to like a 2 or 3, and we're gonna see how that sounds.
What if you could walk away from a training with not just knowledge, but a polished video ready to...
Barely here. I'm gonna bring it up a little bit.
What if you could walk away from a training with not just knowledge, but a polished video ready to share?
Now, for some reason, here it doesn't sound that loud, but when you post it, for some reason, the music is always louder than you initially set it at. Now, when you use the desktop app, whether it's on Windows or Mac, they have a function that you can, for loudness, that it can set it at a certain, whether for YouTube or TikTok, and it basically makes sure that the music doesn't clip. You don't want to get too loud because it's going to get distorted and it's not going to sound right. So it helps you to maintain a level sound throughout that. Now, the mobile app does not do that. So there are some controls that you don't have on mobile. That's why I usually use my desktop version. But in this case, in this course, I'm using the mobile because that's what most people use. And I will at some point go through the desktop version, and I will be having a desktop CapCut masterclass as well. So look forward to that. All right, so once I have that, I have my speed and my volume. I'm going to go to beats. You can see right there at the bottom and hit beats. And it's going to ask me how intense do I want it? Do I want it on every beat, or do I want it on every second beat? What I'm going to do is go down to maybe like 3/4 there. Adding beats. See it spinning there. It's on auto generate, which means it's just going to do this automatically. And boom, there's my beats. So on each one of those dots is when a beat hits. So let's see if we can play it here and see.
What if you could walk away from a training with not just knowledge, but a polished video ready to share?
All right, and the music's soft too, so I'm not sure if you can hear it. And it doesn't hit it, directly, but so that's what you would do. So in this case, if you can see those dots there at the bottom, when I stop talking here, maybe when my hand moves like that, I want to catch that dot right there, right? And that's where I might want to make my cut, just like that. So that's what you would use beats for. And then I might have a transition there or something. And it's right when the beat hits. All right. So now I'm going to reverse. I'm going to undo that, undo my split. I'm going to delete the music. And I'm actually just going to lower it so it doesn't disturb us.
What if you could walk away from a train
there? And one more thing to show you, which is very important, is at the end, because this music is as long as it comes. It doesn't customize itself automatically for our music. So it goes past the end of our frame. Now, I'm not going to cut it now because when I start cutting up the actual video clip, it's going to get shorter and shorter. So I don't want to bother with time on that right now. All right, so that's way back there. And then I'll show you what we do for that. Basically, is while I'm here, is I find like a downbeat, like right there. All right, it's already highlighted. I hit split. And then I grab this, I bring it down, and I bring it back. And I'm just going to bring it closer to the end of our video. We know it's going to change. All right, kind of tails off there. But at the same time, I'm going to go here, tap on the music above it. I'm going to split it and then delete that extra. And then I'm going to bring this up. So basically, I still have the ending of my music. And right here, sometimes it can get tricky. I'm going to up my volume a little bit here, just so we can listen to it. So if I come back here, now because I cut that, I have to raise up this volume too. So that's why you want to do this stuff before you start splitting it. So and just make sure that that doesn't sound awkward transitioning like that.
And your confidence. Comment intensive to secure your spot in the intensive today.
Kind of skip the beat. So what I would do is probably go on that beat right there and then extend that one. And hopefully it sounds better.
Comment intensive to secure your spot in the intensive today.
All right, so that's how it ends right there. All right, so that music is in place. So now what I'm going to do, if we look at our Google Doc here, all right, we went through some of the organizing the files and folders, importing the footage into CapCut, setting up, and now we are on step 2. We went through aspect ratio, color grading, speed, music choice, beats, and conciseness and brevity check. So now we're going to review the full clip before cutting to remove anything unnecessary or off topic. Eliminating weak content here saves time. But the easy way to do this is if we start right on step 3 and we go to the core, it's where the core editing happens, right? Trimming, cutting, structuring the video for clarity. Now we're going to trim and remove mistakes, split clips effectively, do the captions. I'm going to show you transcript and revisit the speed.